ramp up their damage output. So the Darkseid synergizes very well with these two picks.
Right, and one thing I really do like about it as well is we're all ready to jump into the game finally. So game number 2 on the way now, Virtus.Pro versus Alliance. But one thing that I liked a lot about the Darkseid pick in particular is the ability of that hero to reset a fight. We saw Alliance just constantly had the jump, they had the healing, and that's still going to be a problem with Juggernaut's healing ward, Chin ulti, and eventually the mechanism. And this already is a nice step, my friend. VP, 5-man smoke right out of the fountain. They're going to go out and see what they can find as quickly as possible. And this is exactly what we were talking about coming into the series, is you have to derail Alliance at all costs. And maybe we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. This time it's not our fault, man.
Hey, last time wasn't our fault either. I'll stand by that. It was Fox's fault, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
So scapegoat.
Looks like something, looks like there was a disconnect, so we'll be ready to get back underway. But yeah, man, this is what I'm talking about. Like, if they're going to pick this passive play style, that's fine. Like, if overall that's the approach you want to take with these heroes, great. But you have to be willing to push those heroes beyond, what the expected play style from it. Otherwise, what happened in game 1 is going to be replicated here in game 2.
And they're looking to go on the aggressive early, try and probably put down some wards to block some of these neutral camps of the Chen. But realistically, there's a good chance Alliance, they're already in a position where they can scout the smoke gang coming their way. They'll kind of know what's up. The Chen has sentry wards as well, so there's always a good chance he should be at least bare minimum be able to de-ward the one big camp which he's worried about. So
here we go. Below that, gonna see it. Can they get a jump? No fear. Looking. Nope, nothing. There's gonna be the roll. He's gonna find his target. That's S4. S4 has Blade Fury though. And yeah, he feels so safe he hasn't even used it yet. EGM is there, hasn't placed the point. Now actually uses the Ether Shock and now forces the heal up by No Fear. Is gonna follow up stun on the S4. He's still okay though. Loader there has yet to place the point as well. And VP getting some damage done, but once again, just unable to capitalize. And laning phase set to begin here shortly. EGM did put his first point in the Ether Shock, though, so they're going to be lacking a disable at least to get the party started.
Yeah, not too big a deal. Still a tool he can use to zone in that safe lane of theirs, so we'll see what the plan's going to be. They didn't actually drop any wards here, so it doesn't look like that's going to be a part of the formula for them.
S4 grabs a ring to get things started, as does Zeus, so God going to be happy with that. One thing for sure, I think, is that Virtus.Pro cannot allow what happened mid lane last game to happen this game. They just can't. The Zeus never had a chance to catch up and was constantly struggling. And looks like No Fear already beginning to roam around, so this will be a flat-out roaming Earth Spirit by all accounts right now.
Yep, and Orb Venom, like, all the piece of the puzzle he needs, and I think this is a big reason why Alliance were okay running something like a Jug in the mid lane. For one thing, we've seen this more and more anyways against heroes like Zeus and Goku who don't have the best escape tools, but Jug is kind of impervious to those Earth Spirit rotations because he can just Blade Fury away.
Okay, snagging a Centaur right in front of VP.
Oh my goodness. He goes down. Gate early on in the bottom lane. Aloha dance with Yoku managed to catch him out.
Yeah, didn't even see it. Got there a little late. And Bulldog giving up an early one to VP, so Virtus.Pro in great shape to start. So taking a look across the map elsewhere. Loda going to work quite well. The Zeus is doing just fine against this Juggernaut, and really what I think it's going to come down to is how much time of Arcades they want to try to dedicate to pressuring this middle lane. As it stands, it's going to be a win for S4 as well as a win for G, but in general, taking a look at S4, and going with this mid-Juggernaut, do you build him like a regular core, or do you go with something maybe a little unorthodox in terms of your optimization?
I think we'll see fairly regular build. Like the drum is always a kind of popular choice. We saw like what Loda did last game. I don't think we'll see something greedy like the Battle Fury build because he's mid, but the way Alliance plays, their timing is always going to come around that 15 to 20 minute stage of the game, and that's where the drums SMY type build is just always going to be favorable.
No Fear getting the stack on, continuing to roam. He is still level 1 though. There's a D-ward from Ake. Okay. Taking that one down. So now let's see what VP wants to do with No Fear. So far, they've really done a good job of keeping themselves in a decent position. Loda, though, is continuing to farm well, as is the Spin. So really passive early game. And for once, I think, as much time as we harped on passivity being a problem for VP, I think they're making the most of it right now.
Yeah, and in general, passive early games are typically going to be okay for Alliance, but we'll see if that's going to continue to be the case here as the Chen will continue to farm away in the jungle. Aki not quite level 2 just yet, but he hasn't actually picked up a smoke. Normally this is where, okay, yeah, there we go. Smoke on the Korea, he's got his first rotation, and it's going to come now. Question's always going to be, does he go mid, does he go top? Where does he like to lead this one? It looks like for now he will be headed towards the top lane.
He's going to be trying to gank two heroes that both have pretty solid escape mechanism. And the Earth Spirit with the roll and, of course, Surge for Darkseer. So he's going to have to be on point with this stuff. There's some damage done. No Fear down to half. And actually, yeah, Rolling Boulder's on cooldown. He's only got 10 seconds. Aki didn't even have a chance to get here. And No Fear just trying to buy time. Still 4 seconds. Loda's right on his tail. And, yeah, Loda's eating some damage here. He won't be able to roll all the way. In fact, no way. So, very well played by Virtus.Pro as they dodge that and ultimately just waste a lot of time.
Well, that was also the Chen's first smoke rotation, so Chen's not farming while this is going on.
Yep.
Alliance can't exactly transition to a push easily either, so not quite the result they were hoping for. So already VP off to a much better start this time around compared to the previous game.
And what's peculiar about that is, again, that situation that led to that near kill, which was managed really, really well by No Fear, is that happened before Aki was even in range. So he rotated over, and then you have Loda chasing one up top, and then I wasn't watching the Darkseer at all, so I don't know if Aki engaged there, if the smoke just popped or what. But it's, kind of just bad luck combined with really good management of the hero. For Virtus.Pro, like you said, there's no easy transition out of this. Now they are going to find FNG making his way up. Loda low on mana, doesn't have enough of the Rocket Barrage, and no, they got him anyway. I was going to say the lack of Rocket Barrage might have been enough to keep that kill from happening, but the penitence pop from Ake enough to drop him and finally get Alliance on the board 1-1.
Okay. Meanwhile, mid lane, Earth Spirit again looking to keep poking his nose in around here, but this is just a lane that can't be ganked, and I think S4 is just confident. He can play so aggressive in the bottom lane.
Bulldog in trouble again, and yeah, he's going to drop. This is everything we were concerned about. VP seems to be addressing. Passive heroes don't care, going to play aggressive. And S4 farming very well in this mid position, but the Spin really is the beneficiary here. He's already got 2 assists under his belt. The 2 kills have gone to Aloha Dance, and you can say maybe it'd be better if they went to the Spin. I actually think it's going to be better going to Aloha Dance just because of his hero really having a hard time making sure he survives these fights, whereas usually a Spin, if a Spin's team wins a fight, he's almost always going to be alive. So some much needed early gold going to the Oracle, and Yoki getting the assist gold, of course. Already got Treads and that early Helm of Iron Will, so Helm of the Dominator not too far away.
Yeah, and for Alliance, you've got to kind of stick to the game plan of last game, which is take these tier 1 towers down as early as possible so you can kind of prevent the Sven from taking too much advantage of those Radiant Ancients. And we haven't seen any kind of push coming out from them yet. They'll have at least 2 creeps on the Chen fairly soon. And when Gyrocopter hits level 6, I think they do get that capability to at least take down that top tier 1. So for now, Alliance kind of looking like they want to kind of position themselves for that fast tier 1 top tower.
It kind of seems to me like there's going to be this brief window of time because of the way that the off lane was run, with No Fear currently sitting at just past level 2, and FNG is about a full level behind Bulldog, give or take. So there's going to be No Fear. It will be netted down. Does he have nice follow-up stomp? That's a great kill.
He rolled in to take the rune, and he didn't really have an escape plan after that. So.
But what I was saying is, and this only really adds to that, is Bulldog's about a full level ahead, and the Darkseer, a little bit behind, and so on and so on. The Earth Spirit level 2. There's going to come a point real soon where we're going to see the Shadow Shaman hit level 6 right about the time Bulldog does, maybe a little bit afterwards, and you're going to be lacking level 6s on other heroes. So Sven manages to find himself another kill this time, but the Omni Slash is on point as S4 with the reprisal. Not the best of music core, but at least S4 just continuing to farm up. Phase boot's done, another 800 gold in the bank.
Yeah, and Alliance are in position where they want to try to take this top tier 1 tower. Aki's going to not catch the stun onto No Fear's Earth Spirit, but his position at least guarantees a bit of extra damage on this tier 1. The Alliance unable to take it though, so neither team securing the Tier 1 tower that they were looking for.
You know, previously, last game, we talked about just how well it seemed like Alliance was able to manage the map in terms of their hero movement. I don't get that feeling at all this time, and I think that has to do a lot with VP kind of punching them in the nose a little bit, making them feel like they can't just run all over the map without being punished. So Virtus.Pro adapting quite well, I think.
Yep. Immediate D ward as Arcade plants a fresh observer ward up here, and that's a key ward to take out if you want to try and keep this Tier 1 top tower alive. And it feels like this game, VP are making a very concerted effort to keep this top Tier 1 tower alive as long as possible. We're 7.5 minutes in, Alliance yet to take it, and it may not be until we see something like a level 6 on Shadow Shaman that they can really secure it.
I want to point out the Helm of the Dominator is done on Yoki, and his farm is off the charts. We're at just short of 8 minutes in. He's got 67 CS, and the stacking is much more on point this game compared to the last one.
Oh, they're going to Bulldog again, bottom lane, the damage output, and second God Strength use. They get the kill with the Purifying Flame, so VP can continue to punish Bulldog. That's 4 deaths in this off lane. Oh boy.
He's got Brown Boots, a Shield, and Iron Talon. And Yoki is just, it's like night and day, the difference in games. Finally, the Tier 1 will drop for Alliance. So previously, about this time, we were talking about what it was VP had to do to get things back on track. Alliance is certainly not off track per se, but this game is not going the way that they would like. How do they get things going back the way that they originally planned?
Start taking towers and objectives. Not to say they want to just start grouping up and doing that now, but focus first on getting your core levels, so get Shadow Shaman level 6 and even Chen level 6, and then take Tier 1 towers. So they don't want a 5-man commit to it because that's just like not the most efficient way of doing it. But like last game when we saw them bring 3 or 4 heroes to take a tower while the other hero was farming or finding a pickoff elsewhere on the map, that needs to kind of be the place where Alliance try and transition to from this bad start.
Now we can see VP is quite happy with the way the early game has gone. They're ahead, not tremendously, but about 1,500 gold, give or take. The experience is just about dead even, so level differential, not a huge point. Yep. But we're going to see Darkseer hit level 6. Let's see. Yeah, he is going to take wall. I actually was questioning that. He does have the soul ring, but always a question of when you're going to take wall. I think that's a really good call by FNG, making sure he has that ability on call for when inevitably Alliance wants to go with a deathball push.
Yep. So Yoku already making his first move towards the Ancients much earlier than we saw. Last game when he first took the Ancients, it was like 13, 14 minutes in. His team had already lost the Tier 1 tower. The Tier 1 tower recently going down at top, but for VP, the general game plan around the Sven much better executed in the early game, and he doesn't go straight to the SMY. He actually picks up a Blink Dagger first, so this is a big change in the overall game plan as far as the itemization goes.
I think I love it. But really, it addresses so many of the things we were concerned about. The offensive potential, hang on, there's going to be a call down, and nobody home. So Alliance unable to capitalize once again, and this is just really well played across the board right now from VP. Mistakes are few and far between, and they've been able to punish Bulldog. That said, Bulldog did just finish his tranks and does have his ult now as he's just shy of level 7.
And Bulldog himself is in an okay, like kind of similar position to last game. The thing his deaths created was that VP in a much better position. Sven gets a lot more farm. That T1 tower goes down largely because Bulldog dies there. If he's alive, he's able to draw aggro off using his Bora, but VP finding those kills just means they accelerate themselves.
And, just looking across the board, though, I mean, the stacking of the Ancients just, again, so much more on point. We'll see if it's going to stay that way. Yeah, I would imagine it is. So much more attention being paid to that. And it's made such a huge difference. Finn is sitting at just shy of 7,000 net worth. Next highest on the board is the Jug, but he's 2,000 gold behind. So you're talking half a big item behind already for S4 when you basically have a very close kill score and tower score.
And this is, talk a bit more about back towards the Darkseer. This is what he can do in these 1v2 laning subs. He disrupts the carry's farm. You're looking at Loda sitting 2.3k net worth behind the Sven in farm, and he's had what should be a free farm lane, but Sven able to accelerate using the Helm of the Dominator and just able to get more out of the lane as well.
There we go, Alliance knowing something's got to happen. Status quo is not getting the job done. Looks like they want to gank bottom. They're going to use Beastmaster's Roar to do it. They smoked up Ake, EGM, as well as Loda. Loda's leading the charge. And this will be a decent kill. I mean, the airspeed is just level 4. So continuing to hold him back is great, but certainly there are high priority targets I'm sure they wish they would get. Instead, there's going to be the ulti. He's going to roll immediately. Doesn't matter. Just way too many folks there. Courier even getting it in the line of fire. They did manage to kill it totally okay.
Yeah. provided Jug doesn't die there, I think that's totally okay for VP anyway, so that's a huge win for VP, getting a much more important kill, they're getting a much more important tower as well, and losing their poorest hero and lowest level hero in the game. That's like, even if it was just Earthspirit dying there and Jug, like, let's say Jug joined them and got like a 5-man kill there, like, I think VP are fine with that regardless, but that's a huge victory now. VP secured a ton of map control taking down the tier 1 tower. Yoku's already back to probably farming up some more Ancients, and Alliance's move, though, with the Serpent Wards is to go into Roshan.
This is ballsy. And they know they're coming out worse and worse in these exchanges. And, you know, the net worth tab tells the tale really there. It's not that it's some gigantic slow, but just slow and steady. Virtus.Pro have just been out-grinding this, and oh my goodness, here they go. They're in position. Roche is about 1/3 health. They're gonna be forced out of here. And if Alliance, Ake gonna be hit with a stun, they're gonna need a lot of help. If Ake drops, it's gonna be a free Roche, and there's gonna be the vacuum back and the wall. Cooldown is there though. In the meantime, you see FNG almost made it away. S4 is giving chase, has Omni Slash. Somehow, that went the way of Alliance. I'm not even sure how. They had all of the weapons they needed on the side of VP. Ake was caught out, I guess.
It was mostly positioning, I think, where it's really hard for the Sven and Darkseer to get in a good position to for the Sven it's to get damage output. For Darkseer, he can't get off a good vacuum wall. He doesn't have Blink Dagger, he only has level 1 vacuum, so we're not really seeing much teamfight presence out of the Darkseer right now. His main role is just putting an Iron Shell on his Sven or Earth Spirit and then surging them in. And Alliance, when they can just hover around those Serp mods, it's really hard for VP to run in and engage. It's also really hard to just run into the cooldown as well.
Yep.
There's just too many high kill spells on the Alliance side that engaging is really difficult for VP.
It was really well played. Virtus.Pro ends up giving up the Aegis. That Aegis did make its way into the satchel of Loda. And now the tier 1 mid looks like Alliance wants to take it. We can see a little bit of drawing. We know exactly what S4 wants to do. He wants to take this and then loop around behind the chin. Yeah, you can see Ake already in position there. They want to fight, and I don't blame them. Serpent Wards are only 10 seconds off cooldown. There's a veritable menagerie of creeps belonging to Ake sitting up on the ridge line, ready to join the fray if needed. And here they come. Cooldown's going to be there, and this is, just, are they certainly not. You think they're going to go high ground?
They've got Aegis, they've got Serpent Wards. They want to at least force VP back, even if they're not 100% committed to the racks here, but they're going to force VP to make a play.
That's a lot of creeps up front. This is actually a really tough line for look, and you can see that Ake's actually positioning them really well to create this defensive line out in front to make them come through a lot. Now there's some damage. Here we go. Yoki goes in, got 2 with the stun. The cleave is big. There's the big ult from Zeus as he claims the soul, snatches it away. The Shadow Shaman down. Now Alliance ready to turn it. God's Strength only has a little bit of time left on it. And Alliance is ready to reset off of Loda coming out of the Aegis. There's the stun again. And are they going to retreat? Are they going to fight? Looks like Loda back. Oh, no.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa, that Fortune's End could have actually purged off the Chen Senback, I believe. It's definitely purged. I think Fortune's End actually purges it as well, so Loda very close to getting caught out there.
Yep. So VP manages to hold serve and hold their tier 3. And when all's said and done, we're back to just about even, my friend. 6-7, 13 collective kills, split up with 1 in favor of Alliance. And it's almost a 0 gold gain, so this game continues. I feel like Virtus.Pro deserves a lot of attention for how well they've managed to change up the way the early game felt and played out for them.
Yeah, a lot of it just came from how much they dominated the safe lane. They've just put that much extra pressure on the Bulldog, which allowed them to get towers and prevent a lot of Alliance's timings, but now we're going to see them immediately transition out of this. They've taken the Aegis, they want to go for a smoke play, and trying to see what they can catch now.
Alliance hovering together as well. Wouldn't be shocked if we see a Smoky Dew sometime soon. There's 1 in Bulldog's inventory.
S4.
Oh, S4 silenced, and that's going to be an easy kill. Big one for G to snatch up there too.
Good initiation from Nofia, making sure they get the silence up before there's a Blade Fury. The Blade Fury's, there's nothing to cancel his TP. And VP going to try and take this bottom lane now. They've got this BKB on Sven. For VP, they're very much going... Normally, like a BKB first on Sven is kind of like a all-in, let's fight and win now. But against a team like Alliance, that's what you need to do. You need items to help you fight as early as possible. So I really like the change-up in Yoku's build this game.
Alliance getting into position. They do have a glyph to call upon. They're going to have to use the suit if they want. And here we go, there's a blink. EGM maybe baiting it there. There's the Zeus ult immediately to follow the roar. BKB's going to be used. Calldowns there, but Loda really kind of whiffing on it. And Alliance has to retreat behind their own wards. Now they've got all those creeps out in front. And Yoki's in trouble. He's going to end up dropping here. That's a gigantic kill for Alliance to get. As they secure it with the Hex, God will be able to teleport away. S4 is still trying to chase down Aloha Dance. And Aloha Dance, yep, going to go for the TP away and not going to make it. Shackles on point, 3-0. As Alliance gets a big win, keeps that tier 2 tower still standing. And that is such a blow to the momentum of VP.
Yoku just went in a bit too deep there. His team weren't close enough to him that they could actually back him up when he blinked in. The Oracle with the false promise did not come right away with the roar. And even when it came out, there was follow-up disable and control. The ensnare actually kept him in place, wasted that BKB duration, and then it was followed up by Centaur stuns, and they just managed to kite the Sven around despite him having a BKB. It just wasn't enough.
I'll tell you what I think a part of the problem is, and we discussed it last game, and I think it's coming into effect here, is they're just not bursting heroes down. We're seeing Ake get caught. We're seeing the Shadow Shaman, EGM, get caught, and you think, oh, okay, there's a Sven, blinks on top of the poor Shadow Shaman. He's the highest hero on the board. He's going to stun him and blow him up in 2 shots. It's not happening, and it's little things, like the fact that Stormhammer, understandably, he's maxed out his cleave and his Warcry, for Yoki, I mean, referring to the Sven, but that's a lot of damage that he's just not doing to a squishy support, and all it takes is a little bit of time for Chin to use his heal, for the Juggernaut Ward to do some healing. The inability to lock these heroes down, especially those that are so important in terms of lockdown on the other side, like EGM with Hex and Shackles, is really hurting them.
Well, Juggernaut picks up a Diffusal Blade, so a bit of a deviation from the build we saw Loda do last game. We won't talk too much about it now because VP are smoked up, looking to fight once more.
S4 going to be the one who spotted. There's the roll, and he's just going to TP straight away. Nothing to go through it, and they actually used the ulti there preemptively, so that's going to be a cooldown for a bit.
They needed vision for No Fear to... It looks like with the smoke pop, they didn't actually have vision of the Jug, unlike last time at bottom lane, which means he's most likely going to get a Blade Fury off, and once he gets it off, there's no killing him, so... VP need to just use this opportunity to get... they've got some deep wards up, try and regain some control in their favor, but... Alliance, they're just waiting up, getting a couple more key items. Chen already working towards the pipe. Loda a BKB, although he's still got a bit of a ways to go.
The VP hasn't really been able to execute on either of the last 2 attempts they've had at trying to really put their foot down on this map. That's attempt number 3 going to be? Is it fall back and farm a bit more? I mean, it seems like things have been busy, so it's easy to forget we're just at minute 20.
Yeah, item-wise, they're not really waiting out any key items at this point. They can look to fall back and just prioritize their own farming efficiency, go back to the general game plan of stacking Ancients, farming up the Sven, but Zeus, he's got Veil with the Aether Lens, he's kind of sitting at this is one of his peaks as far as what the Zeus offers. It's going to be some time before he gets another big core item, unless he wants to, maybe he goes for something small like a 4-staff or a Blink, but for VP, it's really kind of preventing Alliance from taking the next Roshan. I think that's going to be important for them, and they use 2 smokes during that, so smokes, okay, they'll have 1 in 2 minutes time on the VP side, which is going to be for them probably hopefully before Roche respawns. We don't know the Roche the respawn timer just yet, but if Alliance can secure themselves next Roche, I think VP will be in some trouble.
Blink Dagger pickup for Bulldog, big item for him to have. And yeah, S4 just continuing to go to work. He's picked up his Diffusal, so I feel like Virtus.Pro has played this so well, but I feel like they're not in a very dissimilar situation from where they found themselves at 21 minutes last game, and that does not bode well.
Yep. No, I definitely agree there, and I think for VP, they're also playing like they recognize they don't want to be in that same position as last game. They're the ones who are trying to be the aggressive, not let Alliance play their own tempo, and they're constantly grouped up as 5 is to me the big worry though. We've seen them probably for the last 4 to 5 minutes of this game either be 5-man smoking or just kind of resting around the enemy side of the map as 5, and as a result, I can only imagine it's been Alliance getting, we've seen this gold graph dip down towards Alliance's favor just through sheer farming efficiency. Alliance are farming multiple lanes, the jungles, and VP are grouped as 5, trying to find a fight which just isn't coming their way. Alliance just playing keep away.
And keep it away they shall. There's going to be an ult used for vision. They're going to see everyone is on the other side of the map. And that's got to be so frustrating. You've spent that much time venturing out, trying to find something and make something happen, only to see that you were never even close. Roche is going to be back up in 60 seconds, though, so that should be a major point of contention sometime soon. Arcane Rune has yet to be picked up. Must have spawned at 22, and that'd be a hell of a pickup for a Zeus, perhaps.
Zeus, unfortunately, just heading back to base after using up his entire mana pool, but VP have got to be ready to reassemble soon as 5. That's kind of my main issue with how much time they spent grouped up as 5 recently, is that it wasn't around a Roche respawn, but they're going to have to look to regroup very soon, because if Alliance, to go back to that Roche and manage to find an opportunity to take it, they will do so, and then they'll be in a position where they can threaten the high ground.
Yeah, speaking of, I mean, just a second ago, I wanted to draw it on the map. Talk about efficiency. You literally could have snapshotted it and talked about the difference. Pretty much everyone from VP was either back in the fountain or grouped up around each other, kind of towards mid. Meanwhile, you had Bulldog in bottom, you had the Chen and the Shadow Shaman farming creeps in a safe position in mid. Then you had the Jugger split off and farming the lane, while the Gyro was farming the jungle. Just making use of every piece of available real estate to just squeeze as much golden experience out of the map. And that's, like you said, it's showing. It's the golden experience graphs. They're leveling off a little bit now, so Virtus.Pro beginning to stabilize, but they were in a position to command, and now they really have to adapt and hope that they can make something big out of the next fight. Roche is up, and it will be spotted, so here we go. Alliance ready to roll, Necro, bo3, and Blink ready to go this time.
They do get some vision here of VP. Lightning Bolt will scatter the Hawk, so Alliance lose some of their vision from that Hawk, but they've got another one which is also protecting the area, and they did have the vision to scout the smoke on Aloha Dance, so they should know there's a smoke on the side of VP here.
Look at the creep spread here. Haven't used that term very much in Dota. Starcrafting, here we go. There's going to be a roll in. Alke's going to be the one to come out. There's a beautiful vacuum wall. Loda and Alke on the very other side of that. The Sinbad did manage to get off before Loda dropped. In the meantime, Aloha Dance chases down another one as Rasta ends up dropping. And the Aegis, I didn't see who picked it up.
Juggernaut picked it up, so...
Okay.
Loda managed to get saved there, just the 2 casualties onto the supports, and that just really goes to, Juggy found Darks in the jungle.
Yep, I was watching that. He actually managed to track him down, used the defusal charge to slow him, then Omni Slash and had Bulldog right behind him just in case.
We can see just how strong this Sven is at this stage of the game. If you can ever combo the Sven's damage output with a vacuum, with this AC pickup now, he is just going to shred Alliance apart, and Alliance have to be a little bit concerned that the Sven Darkseer is really probably starting to become a really potent threat to them, and Alliance do not want this game to drag on.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the build coming out from Loda. He went SNY with just a naked Morbid mask, and now he's going with a Beacon. There's going to be a run to Aloha Dance now. Let's see if they've got the damage. They will. Just false promise, whatever, just guaranteeing to kill that time. They do manage to get no fear as well, though. So that was much worse than it could have been. The good old tried and true save your buddy, get kicked in the face situation. So they dropped 2 back, and that's a shame because, again, they were looking pretty solid. I think you're 100% on point. They were feeling urgency, but now Alliance once again in the driver's seat.
I don't know. With Surfmourns up in 3 seconds, I think Alliance will look to, they're going to try and say, okay, let's force buybacks or at least get some more damage done on the tier 3 tower. I feel like the last time they were at this tier 3 tower, it was still like a good outcome for them just to get as much damage as they did. So force VP to make a play, but with a Blink Darkseer and a Blink Sven, the play is there.
Oh, there we go. He followed up. Not the best initiation I've ever seen. Lotus DK Yoki's done. That could not have gone worse. Even EGM's going to survive somehow. As for Yoku, doesn't care. Willing to trade him for Yoko. Aloha Dance eating a lot of damage now, and they are going to manage to get Loda, catching him with the Fate's Edict. And Alliance trade 1-for-1, carry for carry. But they've got enough creeps. They've got a veritable army. They may be willing to... there's going to be another vacuum. As for there's going to be a roar. Is there any follow-up? Let's see. There's going to be the net to stop. Not chaining him together all that well. But they do manage to bring him down.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Zeus? Yeah, just managed to get a free one there. Trying to hide out on the side was EGM, who just got spotted.
And that's the hero who had the Serpent still available, so if Alliance managed to find opportunity to drop those down, they could have actually probably taken a lane of Rax, if anything, but Alliance still lurking nearby.
Well, they've got Omni Slash up, and that might be the play here. Nope, they're going to pull back.
I think FNG just showing some of his discomfort on that kind of offlane initiator role, because that was 2 vacuums in a row, just not really...
Yeah, first one was bad.
Yeah, and that's the problem. When you're playing that role, it's so important that you get that good initiation, because his initiation then leads to the Sven following up, and then if your initiation bad, I mean, the Sven suddenly blinked into a terrible position, and Sven effectively dies because of that bad vacuum.
We saw how much staying power he had. Like, he imagine, like you said, if that was instead of a one-hero vacuum that doesn't really accomplish much, instead it's a 3 followed by a Stormhammer. Like, they're just food. So VP's got the tools. They just got to swing them a little more accurately. But, they do manage to hold. In the end, that's what matters. We can theory craft what coulda, shoulda, woulda. All that I know is the Tier 3 is still standing, and the Aegis is gone for Alliance. Not bad from VP.
And Sven is still the most farmed hero in the game by a pretty sizable margin. So Yoku going to continue to pose a very big threat to the Alliance squad. And Alliance aren't going to really have the best answers for him, as much as the Jug kind of can be that early to mid game better fighter. Like in the late game, this Omni Slash will not really do much to a Sven who has Warcry and an Assault Crest. He's on 30 armor, and that's before the Warcry. So you throw a Warcry up, you're looking at 40 armor on Sven. That Omni Slash will just tickle him.
I think as we get deeper, just building on your point, the initiation off the Beastmaster is going to be so important. Like, they're going to need to be blowing the Sven up off a roar just about every time. They've got plenty of stuns.
And that's where Oracle kicks in, though. That's his role at this stage of the game is to protect Sven from getting roared and blown up like that. If you get the false, it's not even about the burst damage, it's making sure he gets a BKB off. So you false promise, you get rid of the roar stun, and he can BKB and just fight his way out of it. So I think options for Alliance to blow up the Sven are actually pretty limited because of the Oracle.
Now that pick, suspect as it seemed at the time, seems to be putting them in a decent position now. Tier 2 top. Yoku, happy to take it, continue to pile on that farm. But if you're Alliance, my friend, what's the play?
If you're Alliance, you're probably looking to pick up S4's next item on the Juggernaut. He hasn't really transitioned out of just having the Diffusal Blade. And then looking to use some of your smokes. I think they haven't, for Alliance, it's been a big emphasis on grouping up, taking these objectives, but I think at this stage they need to find some key pickups on heroes like Sven. He's going to be a huge money bag for Alliance if they can kill him because of how farmed he is.
Yep, it's an excellent point too. Well, threatening at top, knocking on the door is VP. It looks like they're going to retreat a bit. Loda's been making good use of the time, farming at bottom, shoving in bottom lane. Ake's out there just a smidge. He's got to be real careful. The mobility on VP's no joke right now. Now his menagerie caught up. This is actually a huge deal, given VP has control of the jungle, and that was his creeps. He's going to have a hard time safely getting out to get more. Or they can just pull back and make me look like an idiot.
Well, maybe they're just pulling back to push this lane out, but it looks like they're going to recognize that Alliance are kind of split pushing a bit here. Loda was keeping this bottom lane farmed and pushed out, so VP, yeah, they've been spending a lot of time grouped as 5, and they're starting to see some results here.
Take a look at the creeps that are handy. There is a Centaur in the jungle, but yeah, now here they come. So long as they stay here, there's going to be so little that Ake can actually do to get on and really huge Chen to his greatest strength. They're all going to be pulling back now. And Alliance may be thinking something. They've got a couple of smokes, at least one that I can see, hanging out near the Tier 3. Do you think that that's the time for that, or you just hold?
They really need to be able to push out the lanes first, and they haven't actually got, the Jug with this build doesn't actually push or farm all that efficiently because it's this Blink Diffusal. It's kind of almost too late to go for something like a Battle Fury, as much as you'd like to see one on S4, given the way this game has slowed down a lot. S4, though, may run into FNG here, but the two of them keep their distance. For Alliance, it's use your map control and vision that the Beastmaster provides to try and get more out of the map. It's still Alliance who are, they're still ahead on overall net worth. They're up by 2,500, very small lead, but it's something they can build on by using the vision that the Hawk provides. They can look to continue to outfarm VP. They don't want to take those 5v5 fights that VP keep trying to force, because that's where the Darkseer Sven duo will just destroy them. You've even got the Zeus to add a ton of damage on top of it. The Thunder God's Wrath gives some good vision to help set up that vacuum into the Stormbolt. So for Alliance, it's kind of split push and avoid big 5-on-5 engagements.
VP opening the map back up, pulling back as a group, and we'll see what's up next for them. There's going to be the BKB now done on the Jug. And on to your point about net worth, just Yeah, you broke it down so beautifully. Why Jug's build is, not necessarily the build you want to be taking to 60 minutes or so against a Sven this far as ahead, even though they're still ahead in net worth, and it is rather marginal. I mean, 31 minutes, 2,500 gold is not that big a separation. It's more that it's on items that are much more geared to have been effective already, not items that are going to make you more effective over the next 15, 20 minutes.
I think when you you look at what the heroes bring to the table, you kind of compare that to the net worth. Sven is going to give you 19,000 net worth of damage if he gets his BKB off and God Strength off in the fight. For a Juggernaut, it's like he may or may not. If the Omni Slash is onto someone like a Sven, the Warcry will block all of that Omni Slash damage. Zeus ulti scouts out the smoke gank, and Alliance may still actually look to engage here. This is...
Yeah, VP's not backing off. They're going to go for it. There's the run to the Aloha dance. Vacuums there, call down as well. BKBs are pumped on both sides with the Omni Slash. Cut off, and S4 and Loda are just wrecking Virtus.Pro. There's going to be the stun on the EGM. Heals there, though, and Yogi now hit with Shackles, and he's going to be locked down for real. 4-4-0 as Alliance took lightning in the face and we're here, got chest out and went for it anyway, and it paid off. There's a buyback from Sven already, and that's going to impact his net worth really considerably. It looks like that's just going to mean they're going to turn tail and go to Roche, and unless the rest of, it's 45 seconds on Wrath of God. This is so basically he bought back to give away a free Roche.
VP just starting to look a bit sloppier. Even the fact they get caught there, the Zeus ulti scouts out the smoke gank. They see the heroes where they are on the map, at least the mini-map, it lights up, and Oracle's position there was just really questionable. He was close to the trees. He's not going to see the heroes coming in. On the Alliance side, you've got the Hawk, so you can see over those trees, and letting Alliance initiate on the Oracle right after you scouted Alliance's position in there, I'm almost wondering if they didn't quite realize where the heroes were with that Zeus ulti when they popped it because they were smoked. But
I'm trying to replay it in my head. Is it maybe Alliance is just that cheeky? Did they start to move? It seemed like they got flashed. They started to move backwards, and then maybe they counted out and went back again after showing that they were retreating.
The way the Zeus ultimate works with the smoke is it doesn't actually show the heroes. It just lights up the area in the map where they are, so you can't really tell if they retreat or not because it doesn't give you true vision of the heroes.
Gotcha.
But it does reveal their position, just not the heroes to see their exact movement. So in theory, it just revealed exactly where they were on the map by popping up those areas in the fog, but
maybe just some hubris saying, no, there's no way they're going to continue on to us.
And that's the thing, VP have been trying to force a 5v5 engagement for a while, so I think they decided okay, they're smoked, they're coming to us, let's finally take a 5v5, but because Alliance were the ones getting the initiation and with the vision advantage, Oracle gets caught at the start of the fight, and then there's just no false promise for the VP cause. Oracle didn't even die at the start. It was funny, they roared him and hexed him, and then left him alive on 100 HP. He survived. He was like, I'm still alive. I can false promise myself. But if Oracle ever has to false promise himself in a fight, the fight's lost because you need to use that spell on the Sven or the Zeus or someone.
Oh, we're 35 minutes in, 19-11. Alliance leading this by pretty much every metric, and after that disastrous fight moments ago, it's almost 10k gold lead, more than 10k experience lead for Alliance. And VP, okay, you're VP. We know the obvious keys. One, like you said, don't let the Oracle get jumped. Don't make him false promise himself. Save that for the Sven. If you're able to accomplish that, what else do you need to do now that you've given up so much in just a disastrous stretch of 8 minutes or so?
I think guarantee that the Sven and Darkseid can kind of get off at least their combo onto 2 heroes, ideally 3 or 4, but those one hero vacuums we were seeing earlier in the game from FNG are just not going to cut it moving forward. We've got to have more coming out from him with the Sven. Sven didn't even use his ultimate in that fight. I think he just decided it was a lost cause and wanted to hold on to it till, I guess, his buyback or respawn. But he used his BKB even in his ultimate, so even Yoku, it seemed that the communication in general, just teamfight execution, just isn't there for VP, which is what needs to change. So landing those vacuums into Sven cleaves, even the vacuum to allow Earthspirit to hit a multiple hero boulder smash is a huge AoE stun for them to land. So
and that's something that hasn't been talked about with good reason. I have not felt the impact of this Earthspirit at all this game. No fear. I mean, he had the really cheeky escape at top earlier, but for the most part, he's been behind. He's just now level 11. He's 0-6. It's been a tough game for him.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it goes back to the fact there weren't any easy lanes for him to gank in the early game. He couldn't pressure mid lane, which is your bread and butter Earthspirit plays. Just lurk around mid lane, try and roll in. hit the mid hero, use a boulder smash hero there, try and set up kills, but into Juggernaut, that just wasn't a viable option, so he hasn't really adapted all that well.
I'll tell you what's rough, too, is Loda's about to have a butterfly, and that's going to force an MKB purchase out of the Sven. Problem with that is Sven's already got a Crystallis up, so he's not ready to really transition to that item with any speed, and basically the butterfly's done as soon as Loda wants it to be done at this point. Tier 3 is going to drop. He's going to fly in. He being Loda, he is going to be caught on the high ground a bit, takes a bit of damage, but he does, of course, have the Aegis. Keep in mind that she's being held by S4.
And the Serpent's still not being dealt with. They're just chipping at this melee racks.
There's a
FNG. And this vacuum like that, it's like you don't even lose the fight or anything. You've lost no heroes, but vacuum with a long cooldown gives Alliance a small little window to do a bit of damage where they don't have to feel threatened by it, so...
And actually, I was going to ask you, why didn't Alliance just immediately follow up, back up? Because I think you can. I mean, that and False Promise are the two biggest spells you're fearing. If you know one's down, why not go for it?
Yeah, I think with the Aegis, like, Loda could have maybe threatened them all. S4 going now with the Blade Fury.
There we go. Warcry's going to be used. There's going to be a slam, and BKB's through it. And now keep in mind, usually you want to hang on to your BKB when you're an Aegis carrier, but we are getting down to the time it's going to expire before long. There's going to be a vacuum. They will catch Loda. Aegis pop, and now Alliance ready to reset and jump. There we go. Loda, this is why you want that BKB charge. There's the roar. Tried to heal through it. Doesn't matter, as now they're going to follow it up. Now we see No Fear getting involved. And that's going to be an 0 for 2 exchange. They get 0 for 3 if you count the Aegis. And yeah, now I hate to point to one thing. How different is that reinitiation if Loda didn't use his BKB to just dodge in a very cute manner the Stormhammer? Ake now going to be caught out as well. This is a big win for VP.
Yeah, they get a lot of value out of their team fight there, even without the big wombo combo, without hitting that huge vacuum. And it's tough for Loda because I think he sees the scenario, and what Alliance slow rolled that Rex like perfectly, as far as like whether a slow roll was the right play to make, though, was probably the big question to ask there. Like, they knew that Blade Fury, chip away at the racks, BKB Gyro, chip away at the racks, but VP just capitalized on the timing when the BKB of the gyrocopter was about to wear off to get a good, like, it wasn't even a great initiation off. All they need was an initiation, because there's no counterplay available for Alliance. They don't have that defensive support to save Loda in that scenario. Even when he's reswing from the Aegis, it's like, well, what's he going to do? No one on Alliance can actually get him out of there. They haven't even got a 4-staff on their team to try and push him away, so...
What was going to be there, he's going to roar down Yoki, just trying to buy time for respawns, and it looks like that's going to be enough to force them away. Loda shoving out top lane. And VP got a little bit done there. They really love to have that Raxa, because now, one of the teams, no matter what lineup they're running, one of the teams most adept at split pushing has a creep equilibrium advantage. Not a great scenario at 40 minutes in.
VP lurking around, knowing that how important getting a counter Rax could be at this stage of the game. Not going to be easy for them by any means. At the same time, I don't feel like VP are going to feel under too much pressure because they've lost the one melee Rax. They've got a lineup that deals with it fine. You've got Sven with Cleave. You've got Zeus as well, who's pretty good at keeping these lanes pushed out. Darkseer is not bad with the Iron Shell still, so... One melee Rax at this stage of the game is not a concern for VP. It's kind of about how they can transition out of this to try and start taking lanes of Rax, contest the next Roche themselves.
One thing that we haven't been seeing, and unless I just missed it, coming back to your point of a bit of a misstep last game for VP, was not stacking the Ancients. It doesn't seem like Alliance has really been on point stacking these Ancients for Loda either.
No, he I don't think we've seen him. He has had this Helmet of Dominator, but I haven't seen him using it to stack Ancients, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's been a lot of attention paid to it.
I wonder if he's sharing his creep maybe with Ake to give him like an extra neutral creep in these team fights.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. The butterfly's done now, though. Yes. So Sven, he's got 3,300 gold, but that's still a ways to go for an MKB.
I think he just wants the Daedalus first, too. He's got the recipe, he can buy the Demon Edge, and you can still at least cleave your way around and hit the Gyrocopter with the cleave damage.
Yeah.
So probably won't feel forced into the MKB until his last item pickup.
I was going to say, his slots is another concern there. Like, if he finishes the Daedalus, he's got to sell something.
FNG leading the way.
Up there we go. Back you on S4. S4 is going to end up dropping very easily. Now VP wants to make it 2. Okay there, and will be brought down very quickly.
Well, the reveal of the Doxia Hex gets one of the big targets on the Alliance side.
Let's see what they can do with it. The creeps are shoved out a bit in mid, so they're going to have to double back. Go grab them. Roche is going to be respawning in 30 seconds, so that could be an option for them if they're not feeling comfortable pushing. Can't imagine they wouldn't be comfortable, though. I mean, S4 does have buyback. We'll see.
And even just forcing an S4 buyback, if he can get out without getting picked would be huge. But FNG keeping himself home, so Alliance see that, and now they're just like, okay, we're not going to use buybacks. They're not actually pushing here. And I think they really actually couldn't 5-man push because this top dire creep wave is going to reach the VP base before VP get in position to take racks themselves. And you're talking about Shadow Shaman, Serpent Lords, just Admiral Bulldog with a refresher, Necro 3, so you've really got to defend your base before you go for a push against these kind of heroes.
Alliance able to keep things going and keep things stable at least for a little while longer. VP, though, turning this around quite well. Biggest deficit of the game was about 10K favoring Alliance just moments ago, but now that's been cut down to about 2,500, so an excellent opening stage of a late game here for Virtus.Pro to get things back to even. Given our current state of things, how do you feel about these two teams' chance heading from 40 to 60?
It's going to get interesting. So the BKBs are going to get really short. The Gyro down to 7 seconds. The Juggernaut, he's had a BKB for a little while. It's still on 9 seconds. The Sven probably the big one. I think Sven is probably the hero that suffers the most from having a short BKB. So I think things will start to swing a little bit better for Alliance. The Refresher Roar also a huge tool.
Here we go. Jumping in the Hex, and he's going to drop the wards as well. There's going to be a vacuum, and Loda trying to do what he can, but it doesn't matter. He's got cheese if he wants to eat it. Yoki locked in place for a bit. There's the follow-up roar, and Loda does consume the cheese, and Yoku is going to end up dropping, but not against a Bulldog. It's up tying as well. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange, and now FNG being chased down by S4. He will be able to surge himself away. S4 blinks, unable to catch up. But more importantly, without Sven, the damage output of VP just utterly crippled, and now it's on Alliance to see what they can do in 77 seconds. Does he have buyback? He should. Yeah, he has it by quite a bit.
They used both roars on Sven that fight. poor Sven. And then I guess that the 5-second BKB doesn't even really matter because the roar is going to be the really big issue in these fights to come. But Sven getting kited is just going to become a bigger and bigger issue. The good news for VP is that Zeus is kind of quietly crept up on some of these top farmed heroes, and he's 5-1 and 9. G is actually dishing out probably almost the most damage in these team fights. I felt like that he's the one who really kind of keeps VP in things.
Yep. Is there a point for Alliance where you can start picking up a pipe again?
They've already
got it. Yes,
yeah,
they do.
Chen has one.
Yep, now picking up a Vlad's, as a matter of fact.
They guessed wrong on the vacuum. Alliance had actually left the Roche pit, and now they're back in there with vacuum on cooldown.
Still 20 seconds on the spin. Don't think he wants to buy back.
Alliance juking every spell. The vacuum, then the boulder smash. Great awareness coming out from Alliance as they take Roshan.
And another piece of the stinky down there for EGN.
Just having the vision there. They had the ward, and the backline's G. I'm not going to get caught out here, but yeah, that dire vision there, just allowing them to escape VP's initiations.
Alliance trying to see what they can find. Zeus living a little bit on the edge along with Oracle, but Aloha will make it back home as well. So 38 kills in a 45-minute game. And Virtus.Pro lost their Sven, lost the Aegis. Now it's going to be on Alliance to try to make as much of this as they possibly can. Refresher, about 65 seconds until it's off cooldown, my friend.
And I think that may be go time for Alliance. Having that double roar just means you aren't as worried about the false promise on someone like Sven because you can just immediately re-roar him, and that's going to pretty much outlast his entire BKB duration. So you can probably rely on the Sven being locked down during that. For VP, they almost want to be the ones getting the initiation. If you can get the initiation on someone like Bulldog, the fight suddenly becomes a whole lot easier.
Yep.
If anything, he's probably like priority number one at the start of a team fight, if possible. The problem is sometimes he's just so far back or like in such great position that you've just got to go for someone else like S4 on the front lines on the jug. Like when they go for the blink hex when they smoking, it's like, okay, whoever we find we kill. But
yep. Oh, Alliance still grouped up bottom. Order's a little separated, but looks like VP just wants to move up to the top. And I'm actually a little surprised AK's Vlad's came as late as it has. I mean, yes, he prioritized neck, and pipe, which are very important items. When you think about how long the assault cuirass has been out for the spin, and once again, there's going to be the lightning.
Yep. Scouts out another smoke gank. Oh man.
But having the Vlads to negate the armor reduction from the assault cuirass, I think is a big deal. I mean, because Sven is one of those heroes that is a team fight can be made or broken just by how many. Like if it takes 3 shots to kill someone, maybe you win. If it takes 4, maybe you lose.
Every little bit helps. It's a very cost-effective item, and also even just for the lifesteal and damage up, heroes like Jug and Gyro are going to be a lot happier to have that. So see how that comes into play. Aki's always in a tough spot because if he's too close in a fight, he just melts. He's sitting on 1100 HP. He's just like an easy kill for the Sven or Zeus or whoever.
Oh, looks like they already just marched down mid. Why wouldn't you? They've got everything they need. Sven still short of his MKB to deal with the butterfly of Loda, so bringing him down might be a challenge.
I mean, you talked about the item slots though, like what do you replace is kind of the big question mark. The Helmet of Dominate, the lifesteal is so important. I almost wonder if he just says, look, Zeus, your job is dealing with the gyrocopter. I'm going to just fight without an MKB this game and go for a Satanic. I think that may just be the call he has to make because of how item slot limited he is.
Yep. 2 minutes left on the Aegis. Man, that does propose an interesting question, is like, the Satanic doesn't even make that much sense given how much Lockdown Alliance has for you.
I think it makes sense to the extent where the False Promise will often save you and keep you alive, and it's a huge amount of lifesteal, so you're going to get double heal when you're in the False Promise.
That makes so much sense.
It gives you bonus HP as well, so you have a higher chance of surviving the roll plus whatever burst damage comes your way. So when they're locking you down, chances are like they're trying to kill you, or they're trying to wait out your BKB and then kill you afterwards. So it just puts you in better fighting shape when your BKB wears off.
I didn't even think of the False Promise. You are so right. Yeah, it actually...
There's still a good chance he buys a Satanic, gets rolled, and dies in the fight, and he gets nothing out of it. So I'm just... it's still pure theory crap, you know? Well, it's an interesting game like that.
That's what I call 3 a.m. theory crap. Yeah. The kind of stuff you do on, like, a message board. Up, here we go. They're going to go for it. BKBs are going to be up. Let's see if Loda can catch them. Everyone from BP able to extract themselves. This doesn't bode well for Alliance. They've got to spread out. Even though the vacuum wasn't on point, they're still going to look to re-engage it more when they do Loda. A lot of damage, manages to dodge the stone. Tier 3 does end up dropping, but BP wants to fight. Oh, F&G got separated out. In the meantime, they're still going to work on the racks. Alliance is really just splitting this fight out really well, and BP is having a hard time dealing with it. Loda's still sitting on his original Aegis. There's one roll on the Yoki. No follow! Finally, a couple of big swipes from the big man swinging the big stick, and we see BP show their muscle, but not before losing a Rax. S4 going to be tracked down from behind. No fear manages to survive with next to no HP, but Loda just stayed back as a lone survivor and managed to clear out both racks at bottom. So as pretty as that vacuum was, as gorgeous as it could have been, as nice as it was for VP to melt those heroes with 2 swipes from Sven's big sword, it doesn't matter. They're still down 3 racks of 6. Now they will catch Loda. Let's see if they have enough damage to follow. BKB's available if he wants to use it. He's going to turn around and look to maybe get a kill.
He's got Satanic.
Yeah, he's just going to work right now, and now he'll be able to phase away. Still has Satanic. There's going to be a little bit of extra damage. Now he'll turn. There's a Stormhammer. Is the damage there? Yoki, yes, it's there. That's going to mean 5 are down for Alliance.
Yoku just cleaning up there towards the end. Does end up going for the Satanic pickup now, but a lost Rax is still a concern for VP. At some point, if Alliance can get themselves another Aegis, another cheese, top lane suddenly opens itself up, so VP need to make use of this time where Alliance are on the back foot. And Sven has pretty much capped out as a thing here. The one main upgrade he can get is picking up a Moonshot and consuming it, but realistically, the Boots of Travel as well, but realistically this is like Sven at like peak fighting conditions, so it gets tricky from here on out. FNG finally finding the vacuum he's been looking for all game long.
And of course he doesn't have a wall.
Yeah, well, the first vacuum he hit the 2 heroes, the Jug as well as the Gyro, and he didn't actually get them in the wall. That was actually a bit of a mistake coming out from the Darkseid play there.
Here we go. Yoku going to work on the racks. Griff will be deployed. Let's see if there's any way to stop this. And yeah, they actually are going to be able to stop this.
Back off for now. Yoku probably will look to force things though.
Sticking out there, yeah. No initiation. They've got everything except for the refresher. And the board slowing Yoku down. There's going to be a diffuser charge even.
I think it was just the penitence.
Oh, no. You're right.
He gets down to 100 movement speed just from a board plus penitence. That's actually absurd. That's how important this BKB is, because that's what prevents him getting kited. Oh, FNG looked for a Blink X. He loved it.
Oh my goodness, there's BKB. Omni Slash is ready. Does he want to use it? Big wave of creeps coming in to confound things a bit. Stormhammer's going to be there. It's going to catch Bulldog. Bulldog goes. And now VP has Alliance on the run again. Vacuum back on point that time. Double kill for Yoku.
Bulldog is back, but doesn't get any chance to use a roll.
Loda's got to pick his spot. Rough going. There's going to be a Stormhammer thrown on the EGM. In the meantime, S4 just looking for a target. Omni Slash was used. Didn't even see what he got done with it. Does manage to chop down the Ember Spirit. There's the roll. That time it's on to a low off dance. They get the Darkseer from behind. Yoku, though, still doing big damage. Stormhammer on the Loda. Let's see who can win the battle. Bulldog's right there. Yoku going to be hexed. He's down to about half health. EGM's up there as well. And Loda basically doing this on his own. Warcry trying to make a runaway. Unable to do so, as they're finally going to be able to track him down and bring him down. In the meantime, another kill was secured elsewhere. Didn't want to flash away from this Sven because he knew when he has a crit stick, if there was just going to be one big blow and someone blown up. We're all knotted up, 26 kills apiece, but 4 are down for VP, and the racks are really hurting, if not down already in every lane.
Yeah, well, 2 buybacks were used by Alliance, so they're still in a position where if they go for a push and VP manage to catch them by surprise with a Sven buyback, a Darkseer buyback, suddenly it could swing right back the other way and look like VP taking racks, threatening to go for the throne. So Alliance have to be very cautious with this push, even though they just won a big fight.
Let's see. Bottom racks down. Only the ranged rack standing here. S4 goes right on in. They're splitting this up as they should. We're going to be using the Necro
For VP, you want to make your hold at top lane. You don't even mind it. You don't even try and defend this mid-range racks. That's just not a concern for you. It's all about this top lane.
Let's see if they've got it in them. There's Yoku buyback, and the Oracle's going to be back up. I think this is the right call, yeah.
I think for VP, part of you's thinking, like, let's try and... Wow, Nokia is really chasing here.
And manages to get off the magnetize, but it's not going to matter.
They'll force the fight and at least get the kill into Ake. But ideally there for VP, they're thinking, okay, Darkseer buys back, let's wait till we get a good initiation off before Sven buys back so we can get, it's like you want to try and get the kills. You don't want to just use a Sven buyback and have Alliance retreat. You want to use the buyback and get like a kill onto their carries. If you kill someone like S4 and he doesn't have buyback, I think Loda also, neither of the Alliance carries, none of their cores, Beastmaster also use buyback, have a buyback available. So if you manage to kill any of them with the Sven, you suddenly put yourself in a position to win the game. But
Casual Jim out on the deck, by the way. Noticed that as well, just hanging out.
I think there's one also here in the bottom lane as well, so there's a couple Casual Jim. Looks like, No Fear found that one, but on Alliance. It's like a little treasure hunt. For those of you who missed Easter.
After all this, almost an hour's worth of gameplay, crazy fights back and forth, haymaker, and so on and so on, we're just about dead even. Less than 2,500 gold separating these two teams.
That feels about right too. Like, even though Alliance are the ones who have claimed multiple lanes of racks, it doesn't really feel like there's much separating the two teams now.
I feel like this is going to be in Alliance's wheelhouse though, because they're now in a situation where they can play the map and just play for time. They, wait out the buybacks, wait out more Roshans. You've already got one Chi still standing on Loda. And more importantly, you've got 2 sets of racks down. And just being able to slowly farm up boots of travel on your heroes, slowly get yourself in a position where if VP ever commits, all you have to do is rush them down, rush down the remaining lane of racks.
And they just sent the Necrobooks and the Beastmaster bottom lane to force VP to come back and defend. It was just a tier 4 tower, but it gets pretty much taken out completely, and that entirely opened up Roshan for the taking. So because of that, just bit of like classic Alliance split push play, Roshan is secured. And this is really the stage of the game where VP wanted to be fighting. You've got 3 core heroes on Alliance's side without buyback. If there's ever a time to fight, it's probably now. Yeah, VP's in the same position. No Darkseer buyback, no Sven buyback, but they're also the ones down more lanes of racks, and with what so far has proven to be the team fight advantage. So in the 5v5 fight, VP so far have been pretty happy, but it's Alliance, and they won't take that 5v5 fight if it's not favorable. They'll force you back, they'll pull you apart, they'll be the puppeteers, and you just have to kind of move around, go through the motions to defend your base here. And now Alliance with Aegis Cheese may consider going for a push.
Now looks like we're going to have a quick pause. I do want to point out, by the way, that you were correct. by all accounts, the Zeus grabbing a Dagon as his item development continues. So it looks like his sole job, like you said, is going to be trying to just deal as much damage. I mean, to everyone, obviously, but in particular to this Gyro, whose BKB is now down to 5 seconds, still has the Butterfly, and 0 MKB or even looks of any plans to build an MKB by anyone on the side of BP.
And it does kind of, for Alliance, it's like you can't just go all in to kill the Sven at this stage of the game. You want to at least save some of your control and some of your damage output for the Zeus, because Zeus, if left alone, will deal as much damage as a Sven can if left alone. I almost say more, that the Zeus can probably do more damage, because the Sven will always get somewhat kited around by just boars, whatever it may be. Zeus doesn't have the issue of getting kited, so G, if anything, may become a bigger priority to kill than Yoku on the Sven.
Alliance, ready to roll. Loda on top, and I heard a smoke. Oh, this is tricky. Loda checked over there he's right at the edge. Is he going to break it? No. Oh, here comes No Fear.
He is the Aegis carrier, though, so not the ideal target for VP to initiate on.
Oh, there's going to be the lightning, and here we go. There's going to be a vacuum. There's a Hex, there's a call down, and now they're going to engage on G. G in a lot of trouble, making him the primary target. No Fear caught and brought down in the woods, and now Yoku standing and Bulldog's waiting. There's going to be another stomp. There's going to be the road. Do they have the damage? They're doing a lot, but is it enough? Loda going to work along with S4. They're going to be able to bring down G. Loda still never lost the Aegis. Yoku defused from behind. That's going to be a dead spin, and that's going to be GG. As Alliance watched this one come and go, had it in their hands, watched it slip out, watched it happen many times over the course of this 57-minute game, but in the end, able to secure control of the map, able to bring down a couple of racks, and ultimately able to advance past Virtus.Pro 2-0. What a series, man. That was fun.
A really tight game, too, as well. And for Alliance, it's a big confidence booster to get through it. It wasn't their best game. I think some of the individual play, like Bulldog dying 4 times in the offlane, wasn't your expected Bulldog performance. He's a player you'd expect to really just deliver. He's not